probably would fix a lot of the issues.
Yeah.
Can
we stop talking about football now?
Just chuck it in.
Go on.
How much did we do? How much football have we done?
We talk about for bloody ages.
All right, okay. All right, I'll leave it. I mean, it is a football channel, but all right.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to James and Flav for now.
Good.
Yeah. So that's it, isn't it? Premier League's done. Most things decided. Tottenham continue to be mid, as do several teams. No, I'm kidding. We've got lots to talk about. What we're going to do for the bulk of the podcast today is we're going to judge men. Because we've got lots of great stuff. The comments on fire again last week. Thank you everyone who checked in. But what I did put out on Twitter, because I thought it might be worth doing, is are there any things that still need solving when it comes to the Premier League? Because one thing's for sure, Flav, the Premier League title race is a done and is a dusted. You can breathe easy, Flav. Arsenal ain't got it.
I think it was clear. I think it was clear a long time ago that they ain't got it. It became black and white. It became binary. It became truth at the weekend, and then was just sort of nailing the coffin stuff yesterday. But when you lose the players that Arsenal have lost in that front line, it's impossible. You can't win a title when that happens. And combined with the fact that Liverpool are generally a better side, it's sort of played out. But if you're taking your Tottenham hat off or anyone's hat off and just looking at it objectively, you can't. I think he's been unlucky, Arteta.
You're right. What's going on here?
Because now they're down and hurting, I don't need to stick the boot in. I can tell you objectively what's happened to Arsenal.
Right? Is this a bit like like on Christmas Day in the First World War, where they were like, do you know, should we just put our weapons down for a bit?
Game of football.
Is it like I've suffered injuries with my team, you've suffered injuries with your teams? Let's just have an armistice for. Is that the right word? Probably not. Let's have just a little delay in the hatred because we both just had a lot of injuries this year. Is that what's happening?
No, I think I'm bucking against all of the hysteria from Arsenal fans. So in a way, I'm hating them even more because I'm not allowing them this hysteria. There's nothing to be hysterical about. There's nothing to be hysterical about. Arteta 100% is the correct manager at the football club, and they're embarrassing themselves over and over again.
I agree with that. I do think what I will say, and you're right. I think you can't have it's very Spurs like in the sense that you can't truly have the legitimate conversation that you want to have unless you have the whole team there. But at the same time, generally you're in life, you're kind of looking for patterns. I think the thing that would really trigger Arsenal fans now this year is that this is 3 years of this might be our year, and they've not been able to get it over the line. Yeah, so now you get to a point,
and they still don't want it.
Exactly. So you then get to a point where, I think this year everyone's like, okay, right, come on. I remember last year going, I think next year's their year, not this year, and so everyone was like, it's okay, it's fine. Whereas this year, they should have been, objectively, when you take away all the context of how brilliant Liverpool have been and all the sendings off and the injuries and everything else, this should have been certainly closer, and ideally, this should have been it.
I agree. I think it should have been it.
That's the problem.
And I actually think that Arteta looked at it and gone, we can't beat Man City across 38 games playing the type of football that we have been playing, because it's proven, right? 2 years on the bounce, they haven't been able to beat Man City. They lost games where they went for them, and they probably should have been a bit more pragmatic at times and saw and managed games better than they'd done previously. So it seemed like he changed his style somewhat this year. It definitely did, right? And it wasn't that, Arteta suddenly plays boring football. It was just that he felt, and he had good reason to feel, that this is the best way to win the title. But what he didn't account for was Man United falling away and Liverpool system that was a little bit more pragmatic and sensible and deliberate. And actually, and it's easy to say in hindsight, probably the best way to win this league. What's that?
Liverpool, like in terms of their style of playing. What do you mean?
No. Well, I mean, they're not Manchester City. They're not as good as Manchester City, and it's not Man City's. It's not Liverpool's style of play. Which I'm trying. I don't know why I brought it up. It's not important. What I'm trying to say is that they're not the Man City that won the league last year. Liverpool, right? They're not the Man City that won it previously. I think this is an easier title to win with Liverpool winning it, because Man City aren't what they are. And so Arsenal should have maintained what they did previously, because it probably would have won them the league this year. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But what it felt like is Arteta pivoted because he thought Man City would be as strong as they always are, and in fact it was a weaker season, and therefore, or say a weaker season. I think this for every team has been very difficult, but there wasn't this, and this is a good thing. There wasn't this one side that just was clearly better than everybody else, like Man City have been.
Yeah.
If the Premier League is like this every year, we are so lucky.
Sign me up, Flav. Yeah, I agree. I just like you say, the hysteria of some, not all. I think it's not even like, let's take away the hysteria, right? Because most Arsenal fans, what it will really be is something in the pit of your stomach that, are we going to get to years 6, 7, 8 and not get ourselves over the line, which is ultimately the point, isn't it? Is to get it done. And I think if you think of this season, right, and with the context going into it, if Arne Slot had Arsenal's season in terms of points and results, 13 points off the top, and Arsenal were in Liverpool's position, I think everyone would have gone, yeah, that makes sense. That, generally the linear trajectory of a team getting better and better and better, and then this was their year because Man City had fallen off the way they had. And when it comes to Liverpool, and Arne Slot is a new manager, he's got to deal with the fallout of not having Klopp anymore and how that affects the fans, the club, the players. I think we all would have expected and understood that, and that would have felt normal. But I think that puts a different spotlight on Arsenal, because they're looking at Liverpool and probably going, well, hang on a minute, that was supposed to be us.
Yeah. Why wasn't it? And the thing, there's a couple of things I would be worried about if I was an Arsenal fan, and I'm kind of looking at sort of from a side eye as a Spurs fan,
cool,
is what is the percentage drop off when their corners stop working? And they haven't scored in 30 corners now,
really,
which would suggest that teams have wised up to it. It wasn't a tactic that would work indefinitely, because you're dealing with professional footballers right now and genius tacticians, and they will be able to figure it out eventually. I think there was this assumption that Arsenal were going to be able to score corners for fun forevermore.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I made the point is that, can Arsenal win the league? I think about on Jaffin, I made a point about 2 months ago. Can they win the league if they don't have that set piece coach?
Well,
what is Arteta without him?
Well, see, I don't think it's even that. This thing I've got in my mind at the moment, and I did a video on Arsenal last night. I watched the games, and I am absolutely obsessed with this guy called Jamie Hamilton, who I'm hopefully doing a podcast with tomorrow. I'll send you a couple of his articles because they're fascinating, and it's actually so I've been talking about in videos. I'm sort of talking about relationism a lot, because I'm reading up about it more and more, thanks to Jamie Hamilton, who made up the phrase relationism. And in the video I did yesterday, the thing that I'm sort of looking at football differently now. More importantly, and this is what Jamie Hamilton's about, which again I think a lot of people will enjoy, is that what he suggests is that it's actually about football and understanding football and coaching football and getting players to understand new ideas is about being able to articulate something. So it's about finding the language that you need. And
which is why Arteta drew those little picture of a heart and a brain holding hands, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And another great article that he's done, which, so as I say, I'm having a conversation with him tomorrow, but it talks about positionalism, right? And the idea of positionalism is that everyone is, because you know where everyone is, you are sort of creating the future in the present, right?
Yes.
Because what you're doing is players aren't coming to the ball, they're staying where they should be, and it therefore gives you these passing lanes, these passing networks, and this understanding of what the future will be and can be, right? Whereas relationism is more about the references that you see, but also allowing. So let me read this. So it's here. It is my proposal that positionism fights a deterministic battle against chance. Okay, so you're kind of fighting against chance. Stay with me because this is interesting. Which is ultimately unwinnable, he thinks. Casting chance as a problem to overcome. So if you think Arteta, I think what he's been trying to do, to a point, in terms of the overall squad, is take away chance or overcome chance. And so be brilliant at set pieces, but also be brilliant at working the ball up the pitch. Make sure everyone knows what they need to do and how you get up the pitch. But what Jamie's saying here is that when chance is a problem that needs to be overcome, rather than a beautiful, mysterious, and eternal partner with whom to dance with, when it comes to these moments of uncertainty, you haven't got the same freedom to explore and find the answers in those moments of uncertainty. And so what I'm connecting the two with Arsenal is, yes, of course, the injuries, but when they need to be able to find an answer, because they've been sort of focusing on overcoming kind of chance and therefore knowing what you're going to do before you get it, they don't have the kind of freedom to go and just figure it out. And that's where I feel like they've hit a bit of a door here.
I think that's a problem across football.
I agree. And sorry, and I think the reason that's so interesting is because, and I'm excited about it, is that I think everyone's very fed up with positional play. But what I would say to that is that when you, like the set pieces you were just talking about there, when it's sort of happening and happening and happening, sooner or later, to the same point of positional play and knowing what you're going to do with the ball, with those set pieces, you start to feel and know what's coming. And so that then becomes like a baseline of knowledge that you can then put an extra layer on top of that. And that's what I figure like Liverpool have done better than Arsenal. And that's the next stage for Arsenal. I think they need to get their players back, of course, but they also need to, there's this new, everyone knows where everyone is. Everyone plays the same because football's been so kind of globalized. So actually, for want of a better word, you need to dance with chance and chaos. A
bit of chaos.
Yeah, and I think that works for Ange, by the way. Just sorry to get to the final point here. I think that's what Ange actually wants to kind of do. He wants to have that mix.
Yeah, I guess so. I think, but I also think he's a student of the kind of modernisation of game as well. I think he does a lot of the things that we saw that Pep Guardiola likes to do. But you also, if I had to compare him to another manager, and I get that he's likely never to achieve what Klopp has, but in terms of playing style, him and Klopp are so similar. Not just playing style, but also philosophy. And I think with a better bunch of players, you'll see a better manager in Postecoglou. He may never make it at Tottenham, right? He may never make it as achieve the things that he wanted to, and I hoped he would, and maybe he still will. But to play the way he wants to play, he needs geniuses. And that's it. Like Harry Redknapp said it a long time ago. Is that you can have the best tactics in the world. You need the players. If you don't have the players, these amazing tactics just don't work, right? So you're like, a lot of people are like, no, you're a Luddite. You don't know what you're talking about. You can coach average players into you can, but to do those magic things, to win a football match, you rely on the players doing the things that tactics that doesn't come into a tactical plan, like step overs and leaving your player behind. That's down to the maverick. It's down to the chaotic nature of approach to a situation, right? And so the best players in the world are the ones that can't be predicted. They can follow a plan, but when you give them that moment to create chaos, pull a defender out of place, create an opportunity, the manager can't do that. And there wasn't a great deal of difference between Ipswich and Tottenham last weekend, right? We won 4-1. The difference was we had those moments where we had the player that can do the quality thing.
Yeah. And it feels it's funny, isn't it? You kind of go from I've kind of gone through the sort of I'm going through the sort of educating yourself to actually come back round to the fact that I think there's as I say, the baseline is incredibly high in modern football, but that stardust is still necessary. Like those guys are still necessary to sort of just, and as I say again, there's so many different ways of articulating it, and that's what I like. That's why I'm really excited to chat to this guy.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah,
that's really interesting. What do you think? What do you think happens at Arsenal now? Because obviously he's not going to be sacked. I wonder. The other big question mark is how influential was Edu? Like how important was his role? And I think the move to the football group that owns Olympiacos and Forest and his role in that, the fact that that's a super ambitious chairman there. And the fact that he's managed to pluck him from Arsenal and give him a role with much more responsibility overseeing many clubs says something about Edu's quality, on top of the fact that he oversaw one of the most impressive rises in a Premier League football club in Arsenal in recent times. And now that he's gone, and Arteta essentially holds all of the what's he hold? All of the
cards.
Yeah, I don't know what the expression I'm trying to make here. I'm just clinging on not to do a Samism, but he has all the responsibility, right? I'm not.
Well, I don't know. Is that the case? So
he's a manager, isn't he? A manager now, other than a head coach. Is that?
I thought he was made manager right at the start, if I remember the documentary.
What is the influence of Edu then?
I think it was.
Will he be missed?
Yeah, I think the bulk of the work of this evolution of Arsenal, they think, or they thought has been done. I think you're like with Arsenal. The positive here is, well, not for you obviously, but the positive for Arsenal fans is that they are. I think they're 2-3 players away, and the rest staying fit. Or maybe let's say three players away. Like defensively, incredibly strong. They're able to work up the pitch pretty well. I think,
but the problems never stay still, James. They are or they're ever creating. Like no one, like every club in the top 6 is 3 players an injury-free season away from challenging for the title. It's just not. That isn't going to happen. Also, you've got to look into the fact that, and I appreciate I've just jumped all over your point here, Jim. Sorry, but you look at eventually these players are going to want to leave. Saliba isn't going to stick around forever. He's not going to play 10 years at Arsenal, is he? He's not an Arsenal fan. It's not like Saka where you could see him staying because of his connection to the football club. Saliba's just a young kid they signed.
I think one thing I would say about Arsenal actually, in terms of like you're right, in terms of being able to evolve it, but retain the quality. I guess that's what I mean. Going back to what we said right at the start, that the pressure, there is now more pressure on next year than there was on this year.
It's more difficult next year now.
Because I think this is the first time Arsenal have not gone up a step. I think they've kind of, you've gone just pipped by you to finish 5th, then 2nd but fell away, then really didn't do anything wrong, but Man City was just a bit too strong, and then this year is if I'm getting my years right. This year's the first time where you're kind of like, and I think one place to look actually is, I think you have to look at the attacking, the first 11 of the attack for sure, but also the players that come in, because Sterling hasn't worked, Marino overall, and obviously he's playing in odd positions, but hasn't worked. Trossard Trossard I think is overall. I think you want Trossard to be a sub. We talk about this a lot. Like if he's starting, something's even just gently awry. And I think if Trossard is starting, you're not going to win the league.
Mate, I've got a little game to play very quickly with you, and you just give me your answers as I read them out. Hit or miss for Arsenal players, right? Signed by Arteta or under Edu. Kai Havertz.
Hit or miss?
You got 2. That's it.
Oh, if I've got to pick one, he's been just a hit.
I agree with you. Ben White.
Hit.
Yeah. Gabriel Jesus.
Miss.
Miss, big time. Thomas Partey.
Hit.
If I speak.
Yeah.
Calafiori.
So to my point at everything we've been talking about, this season a miss, but I think if he commits to someone like Calafiori and the sort of the freedom and the feel that he can play with, I think you've got a hit there.
Is he kind of highlight his limitations highlighted because he came in for big money relatively, and then Lewis Skelly's probably a better left back? Is that?
I think Lewis Skelly's a very different left back, and I don't totally know what the future is for Lewis Skelly. Like, is he a midfielder more so than a left back? And Lewis Skelly will step in and be that midfielder and great on the ball, and he's been awesome. But Calafiori has just got real thrust and a bit of fun to him. And do they need that bit of fun?
And Lewis Skelly's a weak little baby, isn't he? A little baby.
He's still a child, yeah.
Still a child, little baby. Jurgen Timber, that's a miss. He's a good player. Don't get me wrong.
A miss?
Good player. He's a good player, Jim. He's a good player. I'm saying I haven't been impressed, but he's been injured for a year, so that's a miss. Right?
I'd say that's a hit. Go on.
Okay, I agree with you. Odegaard, hit.
He is struggling right now, though. He is hurting really bad.
What did I send you the other day?
Yeah.
Did I send you? Because he was getting battered and hauled over the coals over the last couple of weeks. What did I send you, Jim?
Twas I love this actually. I love the look.
Oh, nowhere as well, wasn't it?
yeah.
We weren't even talking. I've got loads of Spurs fans I could have sent that to. I didn't. I sent it to you.
Look, I'll send this to, like the Martin. Tuesday, late afternoon mailbag. Yeah, mate. 4 p.m. Fine. And then that was about half an hour later. 40 minutes later, nearly. Martin Odegaard, just leaving this here. 2 goals, 18 matches, 2 goals, 3 assists. It is bad, I'll be honest. 9 goals for Maddison. And I said to you, it's probably even worse if you'd make it per 90. And I think it probably is worse.
Yeah, to be honest, I started looking at that and I was like, I don't know what any of this means, so I'm just going to stop looking.
Well, basically, Maddison is more effective than Odegaard with the ball. I think there's not really any doubt on that this season.
If you spoke to Arsenal fans and they would say, and bearing in mind, they've got a couple of things here, right? I don't know if we should do this because it's unfair. It's always easy to do things in hindsight. But there was a TikTok made, and it was our friend Robbie Lyle. Mm-hmm. And he asked everyone off AFTV, if I remember rightly, you've seen this, if we offered Martinelli plus money for Mbappe, would you take Mbappe? And they all said no, they'd keep Martinelli plus money.
Martinelli? There wasn't Martinelli. It was...
No, it was. I can send you it if you want.
Martinelli? No. Was it not like Gabriel?
No, it was Martinelli plus money. Honestly, I've watched it about 14 times. I know exactly.
Martinelli? The left winger Martinelli. I can't believe that's true.
I'll find it to you and send it to you. I literally will find it in this episode and you can play it, right? That's outrageous. So, what was I saying?
When's that from? When is that from? Years ago.
Yeah, ages. Yeah, of course. I've got
Right.
it. I've got it. I'll send it to your WhatsApp just so for your own amusement and perusal. And obviously, I've said things that have turned out to be stupid. I said Ndombele was one of the most intelligent footballers I've ever seen on the pitch. I stand by it. I think he had so much potential. He was just a fucking idiot. I didn't realise it.
Could you hear what you just said?
Well,
I think he's one of the most smartest players I've ever seen. Problem was, he's an idiot.
no, I mean, you're an idiot for not realising your potential,
Right.
and he had it all. But yeah, he just would find players. Not only was he brilliant at dribbling and press resistant in the most extreme, he would find players with passes he had no right to. You know, like Adam Wharton will go on, and I think he could well go on for a transfer fee when he leaves Palace. If he leaves at the right time, 80 to 100 million pound, right? I genuinely think he's that good, Adam Wharton. What he does so well, and why we'd be perfect at Tottenham if we ever had a world where we could prize him away and pay the money. He makes, and I think I've said this to you before, but he makes honest players out of the people around him. He forces them to perform because he's going to find you. If you've made space for him, he will find you. And then Ndombele would do the same thing. And so if you have players that hide, and then Odegaard has been accused of hiding a little bit by Arsenal fans, TikTok Arsenal fans, by the way, so the ones I watch, where they're watching Odegaard peel off to the back post, and he's not interested in getting off the ball. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a habit of his or it's just one thing they've picked up to make a point with an agenda. But Adam Wharton, this is why he's so good, is that you can't. If you make space for him, he's finding you. Same with Ndombele used to do that. So that's why he's going to be such an amazing player for an amazing six for a massive club. It's because you have the quality of players that will find the space, and Adam Wharton will find you. And that's why, if you look at the two at this stage, Maddison and I don't know where I'm going with this, but Maddison and Odegaard, if you're looking who had the better season, Arsenal fans would still find a way of saying it's Odegaard because, they've got this kind of misconception that their players are Real Madrid level.
Yeah.
But Maddison's been better all over the place.
He's a freer spirit, Maddison. That's the thing, and that's kind of, again, everything we've been talking about today. I think what Odegaard's really struggling. If you've got all your components together, he is the perfect captain for you right now. But he's also paper thin. That's my criticism with him. What he is?
Yeah, he just can't not react to things. He can't.
Odegaard?
Sorry. I thought you were still talking about Maddison. My bad.
Oh, I see. I think Maddison would, but like it's a huge overlap's a huge podcast. They've thrown some stuff at him, and he fancied chucking a couple back. I think he's fine. I know you've said that a few times. You feel like he's.
Mate, did you watch? You might not watch the City game, but he just like if things don't go his way, he's just complaining to the ref. He's crying. He's whinging. It's like I don't know. I've said this a few times. I don't know. I just. Like he would be upset by me and nobody saying that. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. I did put it on Twitter. I just want to do this quickly, but we've got loads of comments to get through. So and they're funny, so I want to talk about them. But I did ask the people, what still needs deciding. So maybe we could just run through a few quickly here. So Only Connects Wrestling. Well done, mate. This is a good tweet. Thank you. Chelsea are good, but are they good? What's your answer to that, Flav? Are they good?
Oh, fuck. I mean, there's no answer to it, is there? 6 weeks ago, they were 3 points off. They were a winner from being top of the league around Christmas time. So by that metric, yes, they're good. But now they're not.
I would say there's no excuse for them not to be good.
Yes, correct. I mean,
and thus they are good.
I was talking to Rory before the overlap on Monday, and I was like, and we've just done an episode with a Chelsea fan trying to figure out why they're so upset with their football club and what are they going to protest about? Because they've been protesting recently. We've all been protesting, right? It's a new thing, right? But sometimes you can understand why people protest, and sometimes you can't. And we go into a 50-minute discussion with a Chelsea lad about why they're protesting, and you can take what you want from that podcast. But the amount of investment in their squad, it means that they shouldn't be struggling in the way that they are. However, I do think that they'll not run correctly, and that will always filter down to the pitch, regardless of who you have on it.
I swear to God, I swear to God, Chelsea have had an utter malaise and meltdown as a club's form between December and March for every year, aside from the years they've won the league, for the last 5 years, for the last 5-6 years. I would love someone go and find me the stats of games between the Christmas break. Yeah, Christmas break to the end of February, and I bet you Chelsea's record in that period of the season is astonishingly bad. And I don't know what the problem is. I don't know why that is. I don't know who's to blame. But it's definitely something to explore. And I'd love to know what Chelsea fans think the reason why this happened. I swear this happened with Sarri, and they had the League Cup final and it was all chaos. I swear they had it with Conte in the season that he left. I swear they had it with Lampard went, and then I guess Tuchel came in and maybe fixed it a little bit, but how long did it take? Who was the manager last year? Pochettino was struggling at this point and then figured it out near the end of it. There's something weird about these months. I don't know if it's like the whole Chelsea fan base and the players struggle with the lack of sunlight. I don't know what's going on here.
James, can I ask you, I'll pose something to you about them. Do you I think they're completely and utterly damaged by the Abramovich period. I don't think the Chelsea fans... There's a couple of things, assessments I've made about Manchester United and Chelsea. Chelsea are completely damaged by what Roman Abramovich did, in that he was the best chairman any club has ever had in the Premier League in terms of delivering success. Oh, what this world-class, generational talent manager isn't done it for a season, sack him, get another one. Ancelotti, for example, or Conte. Like, whoever achieved with them, Di Matteo probably got a contract where he didn't deserve because he won the Champions League, would be the outlier here, but didn't work for 5 months, sack him. And whoever he came in, how much do you want? Good, there you go, right? Yeah. That, unfortunately, you better win, right? As a Chelsea fan, living through all that, and then if you're old enough to have gone through what they were before then, still successful to some degree, but not what they had. You can't live through that and not be affected. Your aspirations, your hopes, the level of acceptability in terms of failure, it all is squiffed.
Yeah,
it's not real. And so now they're a real, and they're not even a real football club now. They're still mental, but they're just mental in a way that's not nowhere nearly as effective as Abramovich's era. And I think they're all just not knowing. They don't know what to do. They don't know what to do, and they're damaged by it. Just quickly, the Man United's version of that is that they've been the best team for 20 years, and their rival, or not even their rival, they didn't even acknowledge Manchester City as a football club. And now Man City have become this big thing, and no matter what United do, that relationship with that fan base can never be healed, because they'll never be better than Manchester City now unless something seismic happens. So they've just got to sit in that Man City's shadow for the rest of their lives. That must be so hard to deal with.
Yeah,
how do you deal with that?
Well, but that's it. I think what's interesting a lot of the time with different clubs is like, where are you on your journey, right? So Arsenal and Liverpool at the top of the league right now, because they are sort of for Liverpool, they may be having a little, like, a new mini journey, or it's maybe the overall evolution of the team has been great, but also you've got Salah, who just keeps getting better into his 30s, Van Dijk, same. And then, so Liverpool are kind of obviously at the end of that Klopp era, but we're now at the beginning of their new one with Klopp. And last year, actually, they were pretty close. And so they're in a good space from that point of view, right? Arsenal are 3/4 of the way through their sort of journey of how do you become good? From point A to point B, how do you become good, right? Chelsea... I think Chelsea, the problem is, like, I was just got up their squad here. You know, you're saying this hit or miss thing, or even the question of, like, are these Champions League players, right? I think that's a good starting point. Like, if you want a team that's good enough and a squad that can go and win the league, you need a group that are Champions League players. Now, if you're going to go and do that, is it best to go and get them before they're Champions League players but have great potential and allow them to all grow together to become a really, really good team full of Champions League players and a few players, i.e. Cole Palmer, Moise Caicedo, Lavia, possibly Cucurella, possibly Gusto on a better day than he has been recently. Like, all these players like end up being like outrageously good. Like, and it shows the flux of football that we're having a conversation today about Odegaard and how poor he is today, right now. He's been fantastic for 2 years and will get back to being a great player again as well. But so with Chelsea, from the A to the B, and the A being the starting point of your strategy, whatever your strategy is, to the B point of winning the league, which is what the aim is, right? Where are they on that journey? I think what's difficult for Chelsea fans is that they seem sort of stuck in this in the first quarter of it, and they're going, well, hang on, I want to know that all these guys are really, really good. I would suggest that they're on a long track, but I wouldn't say they're miles off track in terms of getting to B. You just still don't know. Or these players haven't got to that stage yet where you're really going, no, I absolutely know without doubt that Gabriel and Saliba, for example, are brilliant players. You're not worrying about them anymore. I think with the Chelsea group, you've got a lot of these younger lads and you're still not totally sure. That's the thing that they're struggling with. Yeah,
they don't know what direction the football club is going in.
I think it's quite clear though, isn't it? Am I missing? I feel like I'm missing something a little bit here. I just think you're at the start of the clear strategy of we've got a young group here. We're going to get the best, and
then we're going to train them, and we're going to make this work, and they're going to get older and better together.
Well, they have. How long is that? Say you never made another signing with the squad that they've got right now. How long has that squad got to become great? Probably a decade.
Yeah, I mean, if they stick together, but it's just we haven't seen that happen before, really. And maybe Man United and Ferguson, but then.
But look, sorry, to go to Man United for a second. With Man United, that Man United squad, how long has that Man United squad got to become great? It's impossible. So you got not even worth saying a number. Right?
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of it from a Chelsea fan's perspective, and asking them to look into the future a couple of years. It's a lot from a bunch. Maybe an individual football fan you can have that conversation, but as a collective, it's quite hard for them to see the future.
I get that.
Right. So look at what's happened at that club. And the league, where they are in the league, unless they're flying and winning every game every week, then no one will be protesting, is irrelevant. Because, and we've talked about this before, what they had in their palm of their hands was something.
Can't do this again. Can't.
Let me quickly say it. Acutely magical, right? It was a magical thing. All these players, right? And what they have in exchange for that is all these great players playing football elsewhere, and they have a bunch of players who are of a similar age, right, who aren't connected to the football club. And do you know how much their amortization fee is? Because I did a podcast with a guy who's well into football finances, and for some reason he gets kicks out of reading books of football clubs, right? The accounts. So Chelsea's amortization fee is £160 million a year owed on players that are already at the football club.
Mm.
That means they have to find £160 million just to balance their books on players they already have. Do you know how mental that is?
But obviously, I think it does take your breath away. But I guess this is the point. This is the point that, like, in terms of, I guess some transparency from the Chelsea would be better, but they need a bit of a churn to allow them to flip and get the 160 that they need at different times. But the 23, the first team squad, I would say that So if we're speaking in a year and they've got rid of loads of that group and sort of given up on loads of that group, then I'd be like, okay, what's going on here? I would imagine that their desire is to really commit to this group of players and see them.
They've got to though.
Yeah,
and the quality is there. Like Lavia, Casado, Enzo Fernandez. You know, you've got inside forwards for days that would walk into most clubs in the Premier League. They got a back up to Nicholas Jackson, and I don't think he's a guy that you can win the league with at the top. And they don't have a centre-back pairing despite spending a fortune. Colwell for sure, and the fact that they've gone back to Trevor Chalobah after bombing him out of the football club, didn't even take him on the tour in the summer, and now gone to Palace and go, actually, he's quite good. Can we have him back, please? Shows you what's going on there. And moreover, they've got 10 goalkeepers on their books. 10, right? Yeah, and Sanchez and Jorgensen are their best two, and they're both shit.
Yeah, so, I hear that. You can look at it. I think in 2 years' time, they should
say, calm down. Just calm. Everyone calm. It'll be all right, kind of thing.
I think in 2 years' time, that group should be, with the odd tweak and change here and there. They should be very close. The other thing, there's no excuse for that.
Yeah, a world-class goalkeeper and a world-class centre-back probably would fix a lot of the issues.
Yeah. Can we stop talking about football now?
Just
go on.
How much did we do? How much football have we done?
We talk about for bloody ages.
All right, okay. All right, I'll leave it. I mean, it is a football channel, but all right. This is a football podcast, Jim.
No, Flav, we're in the shed.
Oh, we are in the shed. I forgot about that.
That's right.
Get the drugs out. Jim, just one final thing. If people want to know that because Ollie asked, where can I find this chat about the football finances? It was a part of a conversation I did for my podcast called The Lab.
That's The Lab.
And the Lab.
How do you spell that?
And the LAB.
Right.
And the latest podcast is called How Does a Qatari Takeover Change Tottenham? And it's a guy he does lots of mergers and acquisitions and
fingers in pies.
Buying lots of things. Yeah, and so it's an interesting.
Yep. Not as interesting as week 4 of Egg Chat.
Before we go on to that, can you get your your thumbnail guys doing my editing? I look horrendous in every fucking thumbnail. Tell me what I need to do.
Send me pictures you want in. Send me pictures.
I'm just going to copy your pictures, right?
What do you mean?
I'm going to do your poses that you've got there in yours, right? And I'm going to send them, and he's got to use them. I don't give a shit if they're worse than what he's got, because he's found the worst. I don't know how I'm like, do I look like that? And maybe the answer is yes. I don't want to know. All right, so I'm going to send over a video of me doing different faces, and from now on, that's what he's using.
All right, make sure it's fucking well lit, and make sure the mic's not in
well
there.
Lit? John, is this all right?
It's fine. There's a lot of shadow on you, but
is there?
There's loads. Look at your right side of your face. Anyway, first of all, Flav, I just thought I'd bring this to your attention. Who do you think you are? Rye. NO515. He thinks it's a nice comment, but it feels like a bit of a power move. So, just checking in, lads. Have a great weekend. It's been years since I listened, back in the Tanvir days, and I forgot how genuinely untethered and funny that podcast was. I think I'm going to have to stick around again. Why don't you fuck off, Ryan?
Yeah. What you think you can watch us 6-7 years ago when we were young and fit?
Don't pat me on the head. Yeah. Go on, get him.
Yeah, go fuck yourself. What's his name?
I think it's probably Ryan, something like that.
Right, is it Ryan? I don't know, mate. Do you know what? I don't give a shit. I hope I never hear from you ever again. Right? Don't actually. I mean, that's a bit dark, isn't it?
Fucking pat me on the head. Do you know what? Guys, I might just stick around.
Well, yeah, how about you fuck off, mate? We don't need you to stick around. We made it.
Yeah,
we made it. We don't need anyone anymore. We got people are paying for this right now, watching this. All these fucking reprobates.
You got shed members.
Shed members, sorry. Yeah.
By the way, if you want to become a patron, the mailbags have been very good fun recently.
Second podcast is kicking off.
It is kicking off, and we've got We are slightly concerned that some people are becoming patrons and then just sharing the podcast amongst their friends. So if you are one of those,
there was one geezer who said, I subscribe to the podcast. I'm a moist slug, right? And then he said, but there's a bloke who I live with who also watches the podcast, but isn't a moist slug and doesn't subscribe to the Patreon to get the second podcast, right? And he said, is it okay for me to watch it while he's in the room? No, it ain't. You go to the toilet when you watch it on your own, the smallest room in the house, so he can get nowhere near your screen. But you dare put it on the big screen in the front room either.
Exactly. Less than a London pint. Come on. Matt Rabs, some nice comments. He said, hi guys, just wanted to let you know that coming home steaming from a night out after speaking to no women and then putting on Match of the Day and hearing the intro music gives me an ancient monolith. Happy to help. And Scott Richmond, hello mate. When James told us to check in, my heart warmed a little. Like a boiled egg was close. Jim Big Laugh Award. J.M. Mitchell said... So if anyone didn't watch last week's podcast, we can reveal the answers from last week. 2 eggs. I ate 2 eggs, and Flav didn't spot it. Jem Mitchell said...
I got to the end of the pod and I texted him and went, you gonna eat the egg.
I just got messages again. egg. I love the idea of how James now... of James...
egg.
So yeah, this made me laugh. He said, I love the idea of James now uncontrollably smirking anytime he cracks his egg out in public by himself, just chuckling away at his little fella, the egg. And JJS says, Flav, someone had commented about Flav using the word, some sort of analogy with the Serengeti quite regularly. We were touching on that. And JJS said, Serengeti watch is ongoing. The data shows it comes from a Fighting Cock episode a few weeks back, as Ange sent out his weakened squad of frightened gazelles into the Great Plains to get devoured. I personally am enjoying the Serengeti content, and I hope it becomes a staple of the pod to come. Merry Sluggy Friday to you all. There you go.
There you go.
We've got a new bit. If you can let us know your some non-footballers with footballers' names. We were saying, I can't remember how it came about, but here it is. Ben Naylor. He said, my girlfriend's dad is called Danny Rose. He's a Man United fan. White. He says. Danny Rose.
Danny Rose.
Have you interviewed Danny Rose?
No, I'd like to. I'd really like to.
Do you think you'd feel comfortable chatting to Danny Rose? Do you know what I mean? I think he
I don't think it'll be a relaxed
he unnerves me.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a relaxed conversation, I don't think. No. I'm also trying to get... Mate, I got hold of... Do you know I have this little weird knack of being able to find people if I want to speak to them?
Yeah, you do. You absolutely do.
Yeah, it's like, I think the biggest one I ever had was when I was with Boltwood, and you went, do you know if we can get to Eddie Hearn? I went,
yeah.
Yeah, I can get Eddie Hearn for you if you want.
And you did. You got to him, didn't you? Yeah.
I did. No, but I found a way to, I won't say too much, but Jermaine Defoe's agent did not go the way I wanted it to.
Right.
I do not have the money.
No tengo cambio. Yeah, that's where conversations end.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay.
All right,
Yep. And what sort of fee would we be looking at?
Yeah, I'm just gonna hang up now. Bye bye. Have a nice life.
So you aim your arrows high. You said I went to uni with Alex Ferguson. He's a massive Liverpool fan. That's a nightmare, isn't it? Who do you support? Liverpool. What's your name? Alex Ferguson. Disaster. Do you think... I'd love to know if Alex Ferguson thought about becoming a Liverpool fan. Becoming a Man United fan, just for like a...
Should it?
Because that's quite like... I don't know, it's a bit more fun, isn't it? If your name's Alex Ferguson. But anyway. Can you judge a man? Right, let's judge men.
Just reading some of the comments from yesterday. I think pocket egg is fine as long as nobody sees you remove it from your pocket.
Well, okay, we can do egg chat. Let's do egg chat.
Yeah, let's do egg chat.
You
obviously saw, Chris.
Well, I've got it right
here. A
here.
little nod to you, didn't you?
He did, yeah. But huge thank you to Chris for We are akin. Chris Eubank said apparently egg contamination was the reason for his 2 failed drug tests. So I contaminated him with an egg.
Doesn't make any sense.
He's definitely Chris Eubank Jr., isn't he? He's definitely, yeah. So he did this, didn't he? Look, I love his listening. Do you know what? It's interesting if you break down. Like, can you see this? I might need to share it.
It's okay. I've seen it about 1 million times.
Right.
But was it him hitting him with an egg?
Yeah, the fake bit of acting as he goes, "What are you saying? What are you saying?" Whilst he's look, you can see if you look closely, you can see the
going
hand.
for the egg.
Yeah. He's sort of slowly working his way to the pocket. Yeah,
it's all like a magician, wasn't he? Sorry, what did you say?
He hit him hard as well, didn't he? Naughty that. Very naughty. Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. To honestly, it was a boxing fan. I don't understand why he had to do that. Like, it's already massive. Their personality is going to sell that. Like, hitting him with an egg, it felt like a little bit like, what's the point? I don't know. Maybe I'm getting older.
I saw some reaction. People like, great entertainment, really great entertainment. Is it?
I mean, if you're 6, yeah, right.
Yeah,
great entertainment. How is it great entertainment? Fucking
grown men. You can actually see, just poor, if I'm honest. But anyway, lots of egg chat. Somehow we're in week 4 and we're still thriving.
How long do you reckon it goes for?
I don't know, man. But
this is the thing with this podcast is it doesn't matter.
You never know.
You never know. And it'll be one of them we'll look back in a year's time and we'll go, do you remember egg chat? Yeah, I do. That was weird, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So as you say, oh hey Rad said, I think pocket egg is fine as long as nobody sees you remove it from your pocket. At this point, if I see someone pull an egg out of their pocket, I'm just going to ask if they've watched this week's Jaffin yet. And he said we should also call it a travel egg hack, not a pocket egg hack, because it avoids people shortening it to the pegging hack. Which is a good point. Got to keep an eye on language is important. Amarthad or Amar the Red? Probably that. The fact that Flav didn't even notice you popping an egg, or at least pretending not to, made it sweeter. That's great.
I didn't see it.
He didn't see it, did he? But that's fine. And Adam, so this is amazing. Some international egg chat for you lot. I'm currently in Indonesia, and in the early hours of Saturday morning, I did a sunrise hike up a local mountain. The group I was part of were presented with 2 items for breakfast. Once we had made it to the summit, ready? Banana sandwiches and hard-boiled eggs. What are the chances? That was a thing, wasn't it? Banana sandwich? Was it Harry Maguire loves banana sandwich? Was that a thing?
Yeah, banana sandwich. I can't remember what we were talking about, but it's just like ways sandwich. Give me a sandwich.
Yeah.
Scored last night.
Yeah, amazing. Had an all right season. We were pretty cold once we'd reached the top, and so I decided to try help some members of the group by informing them of James's revelation, suggesting that it could be of some use to us in this time of need. It was met with initial skepticism. Even with the fresh-aired environment we found ourselves in, there was still a question about the appropriateness of undressing the egg and the ensuing pungent consequences that would follow in a relatively busy area. But after some debate, a few people began to warm to the idea and made use of the egg's newly discovered multifunctionality. It's safe to say that when I first heard James' theorem, I didn't expect it to become of such use so soon. But there we were, keeping toasty atop an Indonesian mountain, thanks to a hard-boiled egg. The far-reaching power of Jaffin. I
love that message. Who was the name? What's the name?
That was Adam Tiffin.
Right, because my idea about going to Indonesia is this: like, it's a beautiful place. It's got to be up there, one of the most beautiful places in the world. You can see everything, right? It's incredible. These new cultures, new flavors, new women, new men, all of it, right? But he's like, gotta listen to Jaffin, though, ain't I? Like, I'm essentially approaching what could be one of the best moments of my life, climbing up this mountain with a boiled egg. And he's thinking about Jaffin.
Yeah, that's mega. That's fucking class. Yeah, that's true. I think Jaffin keeps people grounded.
It's a form of
meditation, I would say. Arduous tasks. Got some good ones. Make sure you get your arduous tasks in. Costalicious, arduous task. Replugging your iPhone charger when you accidentally yank it out of your phone. You got to roll over, pick it up the floor, and then replug it in. That is annoying. It is annoying, isn't it? You know, when because you've plugged in your phone because you're going to charge it overnight, but you sort of wanted to check it, and then it's gone.
Yeah, annoying.
Luke Gold, things that make you go, ugh. Things that make you go, Having to try on trousers. True, innit? You know, you got to buy trousers. You got to buy trousers. The top is like off, top, on. Right, I'll try on that. Trousers is just a fucking slog.
And then, not every man will know this, right? But you're in the changing room and you try the trousers on and they don't fit. They're too small, and you just go.
Yeah, well, I hate myself. Yeah, and now I hate myself as well. Brilliant.
There's a couple of things going on, right? There's the self-loathing and the fact that you've got to try on the bigger pair.
And you've got to put your other trousers back on.
I don't want this to be a humble brag, right? But I've got a bit of an issue, right? I went into Ralph Lauren the other day and I bought a... Yeah.
What? Is there one in... There's one in Devizes, is there? Ralph Lauren?
Well, let me be clear. It was an outlet store. Go on. All right, so it's a Ralph Lauren outlet.
That's fine.
All right. And I thought the Americans, sorry for you Americans, right? But I thought they were all big, for want of a better expression, right?
Yeah, to a man, they're all huge, aren't they?
Yeah, one in three is. Anyway, and I'm like,
sorry, because it's a great bit. Stats that you just like. I agree with that stat. I presume 1 of 3 Americans are fat. I would love people's self-made stats that you just decided yourself that are true and generally believe that to be the truth.
1 in 3 are.
Oh, really? I mean, if that is the case, that's incredibly sad. But...
Easy.
Sorry, go on.
Anyway, so I've gone in, and this is not funny or nothing, right? But I'm confused. And I've picked up this lovely. It's like a blazer, but it's sort of cotton. It's nice, right?
Yeah.
And I put on an extra large, and I'm like, this doesn't fit. So it's too small. I'm like, do I need an extra large? And I'm like, I'm not a giant human being. I'm an average sized bloke, I thought.
Mm.
So I'm now, look at me, right? This is the biggest.
I swear we've done it. You've told me this already. But go on.
This is the biggest someone can be to shop in Ralph Lauren. That can't be right.
Oh, is that a Ralph Lauren jumper, that one?
No.
Oh, right. Oh, sorry, but you're saying that you can't fit that one. Yeah, go.
Do you want to see my new trainers?
Well, then.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, they're fresh. That's nice.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Air Max, mate. Yeah, I've never bought Air Max, and I'm keen to. Are they crazy comfortable? They always look like they are. I've never felt like I've been able to pull them off. I've never known what trouser to wear with the Max. Need some help. But anyway, trying on trousers is really annoying. That's a really good one. Mickey 13, another brilliant one. The most simple aggravating thing: washing a sieve. It just can't be done.
Yeah, it can't be done.
Do you know what's worse? Do you know a sieve that's like one of those like metal fine ones, so tiny holes, and you've cooked broccoli and trying to get a little green little.
Do you know what else? A masher. You've just mashed potato and you've left it on the side before soaking it. The fucker cannot get it. If I said, everyone's digging me up for selling that story on. If I said it here,
yeah, you've said it to us.
Sorry,
it's fine. Slugs in the Wild, just checking in. Love Chris Eubanks. Nod to the bod. Done.
Tom Lock washing a garlic press. Honestly, just been it. Yeah.
Garlic press. Yeah. But you know what? What I think you just need to accept is that you shouldn't be using the garlic press for anything else, and therefore, do you really need to wash it anyway? It's just going to be more garlicness.
Of course, you need to wash it. It's going to go moldy.
No, I know, but not to like get it out. Right. You got to hook it out, and then you got to smell it.
It's not the taste that you need to eradicate.
Yeah.
It's still a nightmare.
That's true. Okay, let's judge men. So, first of all, I hold my hands up. Clearly, I was wrong on the margarita thing.
Yeah, you are.
Quite upset about that, it seems. Yeah. Although XX Tribe XX said ordering a Domino's for one. That's an ick.
I would judge. So, yes. Right, there's a couple of things with Domino's. If you're at home on your own, and you're ordering a Domino's for yourself and you live with other people, you've got to make it so they never know you've done that. They cannot know.
Ooh. Tricky with getting the box out.
Yeah. So if you're in a shared house or student house, whatever it might be, you need to get to the door, get the Domino's, and get it into your room before anyone can even fucking smell it. Otherwise, you should be judged accordingly. Okay. Also, people that just go for a Domino's for lunch. A lunchtime Domino's.
Oh, mate, yeah, that's mental. Yeah,
that is mental.
That's a great point.
I'm hungry. I wouldn't want a whole Domino's. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you can't have Domino's. You can't have Domino's for lunch. I think my blind spot with the Domino's thing. So Cruttlefish says, James, you couldn't be more wrong about margarita pizza. A margarita is beautiful in simplicity. And when you brought up Domino's of all places, I could feel the souls of many an Italian papa cry out in pain. So yeah, I think I'm probably wrong on this one. So fair play. Nathan Travers just chucked a great one, and because he's a patron, we'll read it out straight away. Can you judge a man walking a tiny dog?
I mean, it's tough because it could be
might
it's
not be
the
their
wife.
Dog, mightn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it could be the wife. And my dad has a French bulldog, and he looks ridiculous. and my mate Glenn, he has a Bayesian Frise, if that's right, and that's just a small fluffy cloud. Essentially, yeah, he looks pathetic.
Okay.
So yeah, you can judge a man. Can I read this one? I don't know if you got it. It's about pizza here. Tom Fury. Stifle.
No,
you got that?
Go on. No.
I had a pizza in Rome. I was talking about the Rome pizzas. I had a pizza in Rome, and I was literally shocked at how good it was. I just kept saying, how? And that's exactly it. You're eating it and going, how the fuck is this so good?
Yeah.
All it had on it was tomato sauce, cheese, and mushrooms. And it was the greatest thing I've ever had. We did the British thing of eating it when we were hungry, so it was like 5 p.m. and pretty quiet. When we left, they were queuing around the block to get it. And that's the other thing is there's these little unsuspecting little places in the back streets of Rome.
Rome's great.
They just sell the best pizza on earth, and it's just these little squares. It's fucking great. I love it, man. I'm gonna go back.
That's a good point. So getting a Domino's for lunch is ridiculous, but like if you're out for lunch and you get a pizza, that I'm fine with that. It's
if you're going for an Italian pizza, like a thin crust stone baked pizza,
just at a restaurant,
you can have that for lunch. 100% because it's light. It's light. That's the thing.
Yeah. Can you judge a man who sips his hot drink with 2 hands on the mug? That felt personal.
What, like that?
I do that.
You can.
I'm bad.
Yeah,
but I'm in the loft, so I do that a lot. I do that a lot. So judge me all you want. Judge me all you want.
That's almost like you remind me when you do that. You remind me of Bridget Jones. That's what you look like, Bridget Jones. Is that what you want to look like? Bridget Allcott. Bridget Allcott.
Yeah. I think
I warm my little hands, my soft little hands. As I talk about football. At least I'm warm while I give my opinions about football. Fucking pathetic.
Okay. Alex Seaton. Can you judge a man if he rocks up to a five-a-side wearing shin pads? Let us know what's your answer in the chat, guys. Can you? I think. Yeah, I think I will. Well, so someone else said, can you judge a man if he wears the shin pads that you can't just take off, as in they're the ones with the ankle sock?
Oh, yeah.
Well.
When I was a kid, I could never play in those. They were too clunky. It was too much plastic.
I hated them as well. I think you can. I don't. Five-side, yeah, I think I will judge you if you're wearing shin pads. Like, in this day and age, grow up. Early noughties, I think, you still got to be careful because people are going to absolutely wallop you. But these days, no one's doing that.
Yeah, I know. When I used to play five-a-side, I would never wear them. That's what someone just said in the comments. I'd never wear them.
Yeah, me neither. Salvation's 96. Can you judge a man if he claps when the plane lands?
Yeah, you're like a fucking idiot if you do that. Like, I don't like flying. I'm terrified of it, pretty much. And I'd cut my own hands off before doing that.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you know the one time I was the most relaxed, weirdly, right? Because I'm never relaxed on a plane. When we flew back from Germany, I didn't even have a pang of fear. It's just me, you, and Rory. And I thought, fuck, I'm going to die with Rory. If I die with Rory like that, I don't know.
He'd chuck in a last-minute Spurs dig, wouldn't he?
Yeah, probably. Jack
Kirby. Can you judge a man if the only hot beverage he drinks is hot chocolate? Fine to enjoy at home, but in the office, it's a grey area for him. Shouldn't be having in the day. I think if you're out and about and it's cold,
I wouldn't have a hot chocolate around other men, no, or other people really. But do you know what I do sometimes? I'll buy my missus a box of chocolates.
That's very sweet.
Right, for some reason, I'm not a big fan. I know I've told you, I'm not a big fan of football, right? Boxing.
No, you're right.
I'm not a big fan of chocolate.
Yeah, me neither.
Right? But sometimes a little tiny bit of chocolate in those boxes, quite a bit of a delight, especially if you're having a cup of tea.
Oh, yeah. Great.
So I buy my missus a box of chocolates and go, do you want one of your chocolates? And then I'll have one.
It means you get to have one
too. There's the right way to do things, James.
Really
There's the right way to do things.
Ryan Taylor, a guy I work with, we were talking about can you judge a man with size 6 feet? I worked with was 6'4", but had size 6 feet. And his pickup line to girls would be, I bet I could fit in your high heels. He was a charming chap. I hope he's well. It's nice. Oh, yeah, last one. McSlashed. I have a friend who I've known for 6-7 years. About a year ago, I learned that he drinks at least 2 litres of milk per day. Usually more. Mostly just straight out of the bottle or in a glass. He says he's obsessed with milk and has been since he was a kid. His close friends knew this and used to call him the Milky Bar Kid.
Nice.
I think I do. That's too much. 2 litres too much. That's mad. Come on. And something I'd like to just address, finish off with, Cam Mitchell. Okay. Hi, lads. Long-time listener, first-time commenter. I was out on Friday night in London Bridge, courting a fine young woman. I was saying my goodbyes at the Underground station when a wild, presumably drunk, James Allcott stumbles past, to which I go, that's James Allcott. Now, before I carry on, I remember this exchange because I wasn't drunk at all. I hadn't drunk a single drop of alcohol. So I don't know if I'm just not good at walking or what's going on here, or you're projecting drunkenness on me because you yourself had a few yourself. But I remember this interaction.
Would that person had a drink?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't fucking gaslight James Allcott. Say he's been drinking in a public sphere, no less. Do you know the status of this geezer? He works in the Premier League.
You got to be careful. Exactly.
Got to be careful what you're saying.
He goes, "That's awkwardly." James turns around. No, so he says, "That's James Allcott." Awkwardly, James turns around with his posse in tow and says, "Oh, hi, mate. I lose all composure at the sight of the man mentioned being a sluggy and a Spurs fan for some reason. I could tell it became more of a trial for James, especially seeing as I had chosen to do this moment right in front of the barriers. So as he's sort of halfway through, I go for the dab up. It's all very awkward for all involved. And to make it worse, James's posse decided to laugh as they walked off. Needless to say, my aura took a hit, and I doubt this date will want to see me again after publicly calling myself a sluggy. Anyways, my only regret was to ask if you had any eggs on you. Up Jaffin. So I just want to clear.
Yeah, how much
up.
of this is true? What's your take on all of this?
So yeah, I remember all of this. I think it was Cam. You're quite a tall chap. So the problem we had, right, was my mate Sean. He was over in the country, so all the lads were sort of meeting up, and one of the lads' wives, and so the rest of the lads had generally sort of seen someone come and say hello to me before, and so they're not too bothered. But Sean and my friend's wife haven't seen me.
Yes,
be spoken
they just
to.
know you as James.
Yeah. So as we're kind of walking along, the fact that they were excited about it, therefore made me somewhat more awkward about it. So that was the posse that we were discussing. So I apologise for that interaction not being to the level that you want. But it is what it is. What I did want to say was that this is when you're going through. I think.
So do you agree that it wasn't the most smoothest?
It was fine. It was fine. Yeah, it was. But I was like, it's one where like you're saying hello. This is the problem you have sometimes. Is if I'm standing still, someone comes up to me and says hello and then stays to chat. Wonderful. I really enjoy it. But when you're moving somewhere, that person's going the other way, and there's a barrier, and you've got a group of lads, and you've got to go through the barriers because I'm trying to get home, and it's like 11:30 at this point, I think. That makes it more awkward than anything else. And speaking of which, the wife went, "Oh, I've never seen it before." And then we had to get on the train. It was on the tube. The tube was quite busy, and I shuffled into the middle of the tube on my own. And then Mullen, the husband of the wife that I was talking about there, he then went, "Excuse me," in front of everyone, pretending he didn't know me. "Excuse me, are you James Allcott?" Which made me feel horrific, right? And then we get to Waterloo. So anyone who doesn't know, when you get to Waterloo, you go up this big escalator, and then you can get yourself out. Then there's about a 15-yard walk between the top of the escalator and the barriers. And we've got to the top of that, and then another bloke's gone, James. And my back's up a little bit because I think the lads have basically said to someone, "Look, can you just go ask him for..."
So you've created a thing that's not real in your head.
No, so then this guy come up to me, and again we're in this no man's land of like, we've left the escalator, but we all need to go through, and there's a whole load of people, and this bloke goes, James, can I get a photo?" And I'm like, "Really?" I went, "Really?" As in, like, I thought I was being like done here. But he went, no. He went, and it was so weird. He like ushered me into the middle bit whilst there's people like whizzing past trying to go through. He went, no. That's my phone. Like proving that that's his phone. And he gives his phone to his mate to take a photo of me. He went, no, come on, just quickly. And I was like, okay. And so then, but then his mate doesn't know me at all. So his mate is going like this. His mate's going, taking the photo, and I'm just going, it was like, oh. And again, the posse is all going, "Oh, look, it's happened again." And I'm like, "What's going on here? Like, am I getting set up or something?" Oh, it's tough.
It's happened again.
It was a tough couple of minutes. And as I say, please come up and say hello. I'll enjoy it. And just in that instance, in those scenarios, it was awkward.
No, this is my phone.
That's it. Bless him. He went, if that was you and you're listening to this right now, because he was a bit cut. He was half cut. So he was. You could see he wasn't able to articulate. "Oh no, I really enjoy the podcast, whatever it might be." But he also wanted to get his picture. So he almost didn't have time to talk. So he was just like ushered me to the middle to get the picture and then just let me go. Bizarre.
Love it.
Funny old world. Anyway. Right. And on that awkward note, Cam, let's look. Hopefully I'll see you again. And whoever that person was, it was what it was. Right. Everyone have a great weekend. Join us for the second podcast that we do, where we talk about all sorts. And yeah, that's about it. Flav, anything you want to say?
No.
Thank you. All right then.
Cheers,
everyone. Lots of love. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.